Hello, everybody. It's Pucking Deep, and I am Pearlo Wisdom, and this is the great Ron from RNJ Media. And this is another episode of Pucking Deep where we're going real deep today. We're going to be looking at some aspects of the game that maybe people don't pay attention to, or well, not really pay attention to. I don't blame them you if you don't pay attention to. Unless you analyze a game constantly all the time, you probably don't think about stuff like this. But we're going to be looking into the effects of the condensed schedule in
Yeah,
the
man.
NHL and how it affects certain teams and how it's been affecting the games. We're now, geez, 13 games in. Can you believe there were almost like
I
50% of the
know.
season over already?
I
Geez,
know.
it's unbelievable. It's just
The
flying by.
the fact that we're
Um,
almost at 20 games already is like because I mean I just did the first 10 games show. That was, but I'm with you, man. See, it's only because of people like us that analyze and watch this much hockey that
mhm,
notice this kind of craziness, right? So if
yeah.
you're crazy like us and you want to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'd really appreciate that for sure, for sure.
Mhm,
But I can't wait to talk about this because this is some of that minutia of the game that
mhm,
although you don't really necessarily see or you're not necessarily paying attention to, but it drastically is affecting the
mhm,
game and the games and the teams that we're watching right now, man.
yeah,
And I couldn't wait to talk about this, man. I think this is
yeah,
a great conversation for Puck and Deep.
right. Yeah, I'm a professional handicapper, so this stuff information comes in handy for me as well. But it also comes in handy because I get questions when I'm doing my show, which I do at 11 o'clock Eastern time most in the evening. So you might want
Yeah,
to check
man.
that out. I get questions like why is why is Pittsburgh so good right now, or why is Boston doing better than everybody thought? San Jose is actually doing not too bad right now. These
Chicago, Detroit,
Chicago's having a pretty good.
Anaheim. I
Yeah,
mean,
oh yeah, Anaheim was a lot of people were heavy on them, but still, yeah, young teams that are mostly young teams, not very good teams that are doing really well out of the gates. Pittsburgh Penguins, especially. I would say out of all of the ones we just talked about, and
they're
then
the
you have
ones that are
other
the most
teams like
surprising. Yeah,
New York Rangers. That I mean, I wasn't really sure they were going to be great, but I thought they'd be a lot. Actually,
a
they're still
little better.
500, which is weird because it doesn't seem like they should be. But Toronto Maple Leafs are kind of, Carolina Hurricanes are now just falling down a little bit. Edmonton Oilers are rough out of the gate. Now that happens quite a bit, but even the Dallas Stars don't seem like they've
Yeah,
hit the
they
stride.
stumbled out of the gate a
Tampa
little bit.
Bay, we were talking about last time. Now they've
Stumbled out of
come
the
back
gate a
and
little
won a
bit. Yep.
couple here now,
Mm-hmm.
but these are teams that were considered to be, the fire wagon teams of the league.
Fire wagon. Ooh,
Yeah,
I like that, man. I gotta
yeah,
write
yeah.
that down.
Certainly, when you consider you look at Pittsburgh's roster, and you're like, really, this is their what's 8-3-0 or something, 8-3-4-0 or something
Yeah,
like that.
right. Like
Boston Bruins are around 500. The Islanders even were kind of people thought they weren't going to be very good, and they've gone on a bit of a run. So why is this? They were asking. I had to think about it. I had to think about it because I have done very well this year on shot prop premium stuff like that. All my props have done well, but I
yeah,
have to admit I've been a little iffy on who's going to win and overs and
like
unders and
like the
stuff like
big
that.
the big ones, right? Like
The one
who's
that
gonna
people
win the
pay
games?
attention to the
Yeah,
most,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
right.
probably why the people are asking me why this is happening because they took some of my picks
Yeah.
and they didn't
Well,
win. So, what do you think, Ron?
I
What's
have a
your line?
theory. I mean, I have a theory. Look, we talked about this before we went on the show, and we thought,
Right.
that this would be something that we should really talk about. But, you know, these are things that people don't necessarily think about. But you mentioned it already. We're most most teams are between 6 to 8 games away from 20. right
Yeah.
now.
Hmm.
Okay. And this is the first month of the season.
Hmm.
Okay. We had puck drop, what, officially October, what, 6th, 5th or 6th,
Yeah.
right? Right.
Hmm.
So we're not quite a month in, 30 days into the season, and we're already, a quarter of the way or a good chunk of the way into the season.
Yeah.
And that I think has a lot to do with why you're seeing some of these teams like the Pittsburgh Penguins, like the Buffalo Sabres, like the Anaheim Ducks, like you know, the other teams that we all mentioned, the young teams are doing really well, and some of the heavy hitters, what they like to call it in Formula One, right? The heavy
Hmm.
hitters are the big teams that are leading the championships. And so the heavy hitters like the Colorados and the Carolinas and those teams, the Dallas Stars and the Las Vegas Golden Knights, and those teams, and like the Torontos and the Edmontons, right? Some of those teams have stumbled out of the gate as well, and
Hmm.
I, I think it's because of this condensed schedule.
Hmm.
I really do. Uh, there's now you don't have that 2, 3 nights now in between games.
Not too often. No.
Right, and there's a lot of teams and a lot of games now that are playing back to backs.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, right. So that takes a toll. Okay, and especially like with what you were saying, these younger teams are gonna be that flash out of the gate, right? Because they're
Yeah.
the young guns and they're going, like you said, balls out.
Yeah.
Right? And the older teams are kind of like, all right, well, we got most of our teams going to be going to the Olympics.
Yeah. The Olympics, I think, is a big deal. But yeah.
And see, that's what I think's going on here, Perlo. What do you think is I mean, I know some of what I said is kind of what you're thinking too, but
Right. Yeah.
what's your spin on it?
Oh, well, to expand upon that, like with the Olympics coming up, especially like Colorado seems to have done all right so far.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of games at home, but there are teams that the first of all they're veteran and they look at their schedules. That's one of the things,
Hey,
and
how about that?
they see like, wow, that's a ton of games we're going to have to play up until here or whatever, right? And
You
then
know?
they also know that we're going to be a bunch of us and me and a whole bunch of guys, we're going to be going to the Olympics, and we're going to have to, like, good teams like Tampa Bay, for instance, and Florida Panthers, they've learned that the regular season is a marathon. And if we're going to be doing this, we got to pace ourselves somehow. And I think that's what's happening here is, and not only that, they've got used to kind of pacing themselves a little bit, but now they feel like almost like this is subconsciously that they need to pace themselves a little more. So they come up to these young, teams that are not very good, and I think they kind of have the mentality, well, we can take it easy a little bit on this one, save ourselves some energy and all that kind of stuff like that. And, take this game like 3-1. Tampa does that all the time. Florida does that all the time. Colorado does that all the time. The teams that have won cups do that because they know that it's a marathon. But what's happened here is the younger teams and the younger teams who generally don't have anybody going to the Olympics, you know, San Jose Sharks, or maybe Celebrini, who might be able to put up a ton of points and maybe get considered for the Olympics. Think about that
Yeah,
one too.
yeah.
Chicago Blackhawks are doing really well right now.
Detroit Red
Bedard
Wings
is trying to
doing
fight
really
himself
well.
on an
Yeah.
Olympic roster right now.
Yeah.
But most of the players on that team don't have a chance in heck to ever see an Olympic roster.
Exactly.
The Boston Bruins are doing better than most people thought. They're around 500. They've been beating some really good teams right now. They might have like McAvoy, Pasternak. There's a couple guys that might make the Olympics. And then the Pittsburgh
Well,
Penguins.
Allman will probably definitely be going. their goaltender for Boston will
Yeah,
definitely be.
yeah, their goaltender, yeah. And then Pittsburgh, of course, you have Crosby. Carlson should be there, but
Yeah,
Crosby, I don't think he cares about anything like that. You know, he's just we're trying to win right now, and that's what
but
he's the
you
most
almost have to give him a spot just based off of how he's been playing.
exactly
So, what he's got 9 goals in 13 games now. I mean, come
right.
on.
So the way I think the young teams here are looking at this are we can go we can go balls out all the way to the Olympics because we're going to get 2 weeks off. They're not thinking about it. Half our team is going to be in the Olympics. They're thinking we got two
Right?
weeks off, so we can crush it right now. Just go
Yeah,
hard, get
expend
two
all that.
weeks
Yeah.
off and crush it on the other side. You know, so these other these older teams and teams that should be in a playoff spot are going into these spots and they're going, oh my gosh, these guys want to play. Like just
Yeah,
fire
yeah, right. And
them.
but look at all these games we have before we even get to the break.
Yeah,
How many games we have? Like we said, there's you don't get those 2, 3, 4, 5 nights now in between games now.
you're
You
getting
know,
5 nights and 8 days a lot right now. I've seen it several times
that
already where
by the way,
teams are
that's
getting
five
five
games.
games.
That's 5 games in 8 days.
Yeah,
The,
5 games in eight
without the
days. That
condensed
is
schedules.
tough, man.
Yeah, right.
That
Especially if
is
you're traveling.
really tough.
Especially if you're
Back
traveling.
to backs and travel and everything and 5 games and 8 nights. So these older teams are going, we're not going to go crazy on it. We're going to try to pick our spots. And the
All right.
spots they're picking are these young guys that are be like, we got all the energy in the world. We're coming at you, man. And they go in there and they're like, oh, here we go. Now we got it. And they're not ready. They're not
Yeah,
ready.
they're not
So
ready.
San Jose's beating Colorado. San Jose beat Colorado.
I know.
San Jose beat Vegas.
I
Detroit.
know.
No, they didn't. I think Detroit came back and won that, but they tied. And this shouldn't be happening. That team's not that good.
I
But I
agree.
think that's what's happening here when they ask
Okay.
me. So I'm applying that to what I'm doing now, and I've been taking a lot more of these younger teams to win.
Okay.
You
For
know,
now.
for now.
Okay. Well, so now let me ask you this question now. Okay. Right. So we got what about 2 months? November, December, January.
Hmm.
Right. The end of January, the beginning of February is when the Olympics starts. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So we got about 3 months.
Yeah.
About. Okay. That's a lot of hockey. That's a
Yeah.
lot of hockey. And what? Not long after the Olympic break, we're going to have the trade deadline.
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, there's a lot of important things coming up. And so, all right. So, you got all these teams, all these older, more experienced teams that are kind of maybe not, don't quite have their foot all the way on the gas. And where you
Yeah.
got
I
some,
think so. Yeah. Yeah.
okay, and you got some of these younger teams like the San Jose's, like the Seattle Krakens, like, those kinds of teams, like the Anaheims, like the Detroit Lions, like the Chicago's, that have pedal to the metal. I mean, they're going balls out. They're shooting the puck in deep every game. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they're taking it to these teams. And
Another good one is the Seattle. They're not a young team, but none of those guys are going to the.
right,
I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe Kessler might, but and they're
maybe
going like really going strong. They're 5-0, 5-3-2 or
maybe
something.
Logan Cooley might be going.
You're talking about Utah. I'm talking about
Oh, I'm
Seattle.
sorry. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, not too
Sorry.
many guys. Maybe some of the Europeans there from the lesser teams or something. I'd have to think
That's
about it, but
possible,
don't
yeah,
know.
because you're going
But
to have the Finlands and the all the other Olympic teams as well too. So there'll be
yeah,
a lot of players that are going to go to the Olympics, and this is going to massively affect the NHL. So,
yeah,
all right, now, do you think that the teams like the Colorados, like the Vegas Golden Knights, that although they've won cups and they're more of a veteran team, but they're still winning. They're still playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just based off of the talent that these teams have, or I mean, because let's face it, you it's hard to it's hard to take a night off in hockey.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, because you have to, there's so much you have to do to expend energy wise and skill wise and position wise to play the game that you can't really take a night off.
Yeah, you're not totally taking a night off, but I mean, like Florida when they had all their Barkov and everybody, when you saw them play the San Jose's or the weaker teams in the league, they played a perimeter game and they tried not to engage physically as much as they possibly could.
They played it. They
And
played not to lose.
they played to barely win, and they were so far up. If they lost, don't matter, whatever. But it
Like
wasn't that big of a
yeah.
deal. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So now you think that once we get past the Olympic break, now we're going to see that switch be flipped.
Maybe
We've
that's going to be interesting because
seen it with Tampa Bay and stuff. So I mean, you
once they
know,
get out of the Olympic break, then these kids, these young teams again, are going to have taken a break. What I think is going to happen is the young teams like San Jose and Chicago and stuff like that, they're going to fade before the Olympic break gets there. Like that last 2 week stretch, I'm going to be smashing the experienced teams over and over and over again because they've expended all their energy now. And these experienced teams are going to be going, okay, guys, we got to get back into the group. We got to go for a bit of a sprint here to get
yep,
to where we're
yep,
going. So
yep.
that's what I think is going to happen. But you mentioned Colorado. This you got to give this up to McKinnon in Colorado. McKinnon is very stringent when it comes to health, exercise. I mean like crazy, like athlete. He apparently watches his team quite a bit, and he'll come and talk to you. And if he sees you eating like sugar and stuff like that, he'll be saying, "Hey, yeah, like he means it, man. We're building machines here." Is his attitude,
Oh, so
and
it's a
that could be
Rod
a big
Brindamore.
reason why Colorado's doing so well right now, though. Because they
Yeah.
are Carolina. They had two injuries with their defensemen right now, but they're not slowing down.
Nope.
And Brindamore, he's
Yep.
building machines in that room,
Yep.
man. You
Yep. Yep.
you have yeah, there's no screwing around in Carolina when it comes to your fitness and
Nope.
athletic. Yeah,
Especially when your coach is probably fitter than you.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're 30 or 40 years younger than the guy, you know
He's
what I
out there
mean?
doing it with you. Yeah.
Right, that's what I mean, right? So, but
Yeah.
in spite of everything, I think Carolina's still able to put their foot on the gas in spite of them missing Slavin for some time, Gossesbear for some time. You know what I mean? And dealing with those injuries up there in Carolina. But man, Mr. Anderson has been playing really well up there in Carolina. And
Yeah,
boy,
and
does
he's not in getting injured. That's the big thing.
and like I said, so
Fortunately, not getting injured. Hopefully
right?
that keeps up there.
And Winnipeg is not doing such a bad job right now either, are they? Right? They're doing okay, and they weren't necessarily on the list of teams that we were necessarily okay, we're keeping an eye out for Winnipeg. You know what I mean? Or do you think
Yeah.
so?
Well, I mean, they had some injury issues and stuff, but Winnipeg is one of those teams that are built on a family atmosphere. Like
Yeah,
everybody knows each other, and they have a system that they've been sticking to, much like Carolina, that they play and everybody buys in and
yeah,
they play hard. They're grizzled players. People that want to live in Winnipeg are a
yeah.
humble bunch.
I'm with you.
Their values are not what a lot of people's values are.
Okay.
They stay there because the team treats you very well. The community is very strong. The team community is very strong. So yeah, it's cold. It's not the sexiest city in the world, but they have higher values. and they have a tendency to bond very tightly. So they go the Winnipeg is not a team that you're going to see too often, especially in the regular season. They play so hard for their fans that they'll usually succeed regardless of the circumstances.
Okay.
So now the playoffs, on the other hand, they have a tendency to burn out by the playoffs, which is too bad. I mean, I really hope that especially with Taves there, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
just love to see them succeed
Uh,
with Taves there. I really
that
like
would be cool. I wouldn't mind seeing that too. You know what I mean? I would not
But
mind
what I'm
seeing it.
saying is they don't seem to be affected by fluctuations like the Olympics or whatever. It's the same
Yeah,
thing no matter what's
yeah.
going on
Go out
all the
there and
time.
work and get
Yeah.
it done. Yep.
Hard work,
Okay.
lunch pail, get out there and get her done. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, and that's very indicative of the city itself and everything
Yeah.
that's going up there with
It's a labor
Winnipeg. So
town. Yeah. Very much so.
exactly, you know what I mean. So okay, well, this is gonna create like what we had the other day, where we got the frozen frenzy, where every single team is going to be in action. And what do we have that happen like 6 or 7 times this year? We've already had it happen a couple times already. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And I have to agree with you on this one, Perlo. I think it's great that all these games are out there. I'm just not all that crazy about the coverage.
Oh, oh, I think,
I mean, there's so many games out there, but it's like, oh man, the coverage is just subpar.
yeah, I guess. Um, yeah, there's some that I notice. I get so involved with the game, I barely hear what people are saying out there, and I don't watch any of the shows in between the periods.
No, no, I don't watch
So,
any of that neither. No, no,
but
no.
the actual what they're saying or whatever, it's if unless let's put it this way, if it's not good, it seems my brain just tunes it out, and if it is good, then I'll listen to what they're saying. Like Ferraro, when Ferraro's speaking, I listen to Ferraro. Have
Okay.
you heard Ferraro speak?
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I like Ferraro brings in a lot of nuggets about the game. He played the game and he brings in a lot of player type nuggets about the game and what's going on. And I really like what he has to say. Um, but there's other guys where they're just saying the same thing that they're just rehashing stuff you've heard a million times, and I just kind of whatever. That's it.
So I'm with you on that, Perlo. I do exactly the same thing. If it's good, then I'm paying attention to what they're saying.
Yeah.
But I'm here to tell you, there's a lot of games where I'm not paying attention to what they're saying because I can't stand it, or I have to turn it down
Oh
or
yeah.
off so
Yeah.
I can just watch the hockey game. Because
I've
it's
heard a
like
lot of people like that. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like, what are y'all talking about? It's not even related to the game or what we're watching here. You just shut up.
Yeah.
Watch the
Or
hockey
well,
game.
it's not even that. It's some things they say about the game and what's
That
going on,
too.
and you're just like, I'm pretty sure. Look, and I'm not going to mention any of the play mainstream. A lot, not all, but a lot of mainstream stuff when they're talking about the game and hockey and what's going on and everything like that. It is quite clear to me they spend way more time watching a white ball go where a white ball is going on a green or than they do watching actual hockey. There's no doubt about it. They are talking out of their butt and they barely know what the heck they're talking about and they're getting paid for it. And these are ex players too. And I don't blame them for it because somebody paid them a lot of money and they were like,
Well,
because they have a name. So they're like, yeah, of course I'll take it. Oh, I got
well,
time in between tea times. Why not?
okay,
That's
but
pretty
here
much what I see
I'm
in a
with
lot of
you. I'm with you, but here's what I'm seeing, right? And maybe this is just my perspective, right? But I've been privy to go to games of all levels with media credentials. Okay, all the way from NHL to AHL down to the USHL down to the you know what I mean.
Mhm.
And there's one thing that I can honestly tell you is this: there are some people that I've noticed that spend the whole game looking at this.
Yeah.
Well, how do you, and you're the director of whatever, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah. I
I'm
don't
trying to
understand it, but
and
I
I'm
don't
trying to put
understand.
out really good content. I'm trying to do, trying to do it right, trying to do it the professional way, and yet, you know, I'm not getting paid for it. I'm not getting the access to the teams, and it's like, but that's the thing that's killing me, man. Is when you look at people that are getting paid to do this, and it's like they don't care enough to be paying attention to what's going on.
They've been there long enough where they've got a name for themselves, and maybe they just lost interest now, and they're doing it's like well, let's talk about forget because most people don't want to care about the media, but let's look at it from a player's perspective. Um, when you have young, hungry players that are playing hard, we see somebody like say Peterson in Vancouver. I mean, when that kid was coming up, I was like, this guy's going to take the world, man. You know, he was awesome. He was getting in spots, had a crazy shot, had a fire in his eye, and all of those sort of things like that. And I'm like, this guy's going to take Vancouver possibly all the way. Love this guy. And then he got paid 11.5. He got the wallet. He got the bag.
The Brinks
And
truck backed up.
yeah, and he got a not long after that, magically, he got a, well, not magically, I mean, I'm sure she's a wonderful girl, but a model wife or model girlfriend or whatever, and, that lifestyle, if like, Panarin has the same thing. There's a lifestyle that goes with that, and when you get all the money and everything like that, it's it's like and I'm not blaming them. I'm not like a lot of people beat up on these kids when this happens. When you fight to get what you want, to get to where you get, and then you get it, sometimes you go,
Hey, yeah, yep. And then you're like, and then you do this. Then you do this,
yeah,
like, all right, I
yeah,
made it.
yeah, exactly. And then you're like, I got a life, and then you start to find other things that you enjoy that because you focused tunnel vision of just doing it over everything, and then all of a sudden the world opens up to you, and it's sometimes I could see it. I could see me doing this for sure, and I love the game or whatever the case may be. I could see that happening to me. I could see me getting the bag, and I devoted my whole life to this, and I didn't do all the things that a lot of young guys would do or young people will do to derail them from their goal. And you just go, and then
When you watch Perlo, in the last 5 years, I've interviewed almost 50 kids that are prospects. Okay.
yeah,
Of those
mhm,
50 kids, I'd say probably 40 of them were drafted.
okay,
Okay. Over the last 5 years. Right.
right,
And I there's one thing that I've noticed about all the kids, every single one of them, down to the last one, they all have a few things in common. Okay. And
mhm,
the one of the few things they have in common is a drive to achieve the goal that they want to achieve. And the other thing that they have in common is they're willing to do whatever it takes to get to that goal. Okay. So when you talk about a guy that comes in and he's a prospect and all they do is this since the time they're able to lace up skates until
mhm.
they get to the point where they hear their name called,
Yeah.
and they get to walk across the stage and shake the commissioner's hand and put the jersey on, get the picture taken with whatever, and blah blah blah, and get whisked away, and then next thing you know, you're playing hockey. And I got to watch Matthew Schaefer. I mean, this is one of the most grounded kids that you'll ever see, I think, playing hockey because of
Mhm.
the circumstances of how he came to be where he is and everything that's happened to him, but yet he still maintained that high level of hockey. He still had the IQ, he still had the dedication, he still had the work ethic, and he still was able to back it up with his play on the ice,
Mhm.
right? And now he's doing it. Number one draft pick overall. Now he's doing it. What, he had a 6 game point streak there for a while, has a couple goals, quite a few assists. I mean, for a rookie defenseman playing for the Islanders, all right, okay, right? But look at his attitude. Like you said, Perlo, the world has opened up for him. It's very rare that a first round draft pick gets to play right away. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? And so for him to be able to do that, I think that says it speaks volumes about him. And now it's like you said, it's opening up for him. In a not too very long from now, he's going to be getting contracts that are going to be bigger money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's got that foundation. His dad, his brother, his mom instilled that foundation in him so that when that success does come, it's not going to go to his head, I don't think. Because it hasn't.
Yeah. 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 I mean, some guys you can just tell that that's likely the case. Um, some guys you can just tell that.
Yeah.
I always got that impression from Pedersen too, but
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
just never know.
Yep.
Um,
You never know,
but
man, but
but
it's
I don't know where like you there's personality profiling that goes into draft picks, and some teams seem to draft those guys that never have that problem, and they probably have like a special part of their drafting and developing drafting is they look at backgrounds, they look at all these specific things. They have sports psychologists that give them the best information as possible to lessen that chance of that happening.
exactly.
So I I don't know,
Yeah,
but
I'm
I
with you.
mean the fact is it's just Patrick Lyonnais when that kid looked like he was going to be a 50, 60 goal scorer. And you can go back in the past, it doesn't happen all the time, but every once in a while. And sometimes it doesn't happen that dramatically either.
Right.
Tyler Seguin is a good example. Tyler
Yeah.
Seguin never really became bad player,
No, but
but
he was never that guy that was, I mean, he was a
yeah,
good, he was an
he's always
all-star
been a
player.
good player.
He's
Yeah.
an all-star caliber player, but yeah, he's not that. Yeah, okay, I got you.
Duchesne had a dip for a while there when he got
Yeah.
the money. He came
Yep.
back up again, he matured or whatever, but
Some guys, they have to do that. They have to do that maturity because
mhm,
sometimes these guys are getting this money when they're maybe not psychologically ready for it. They might be ready for it as far as on paper. Yeah, you've done your entry level contracts, you've done your bridge contract, you've done the production. Now you're ready for that big deal. Now you know what I mean. Blah blah blah. So,
yeah.
man,
Anyways,
Perlo, we dove way into the deep
yeah,
end on this one, didn't we, man?
yeah. Didn't talk about anything specifically but yeah, I found that interesting. We're gonna keep an eye on that,
Yep.
about that theory about these young teams that are like you gotta remember this in this particular year too, to go back to it. A lot of these teams were thought of like the Pittsburgh Penguins and stuff. They were hearing all summer, oh, they're gonna be horrible. You know, those guys are bottom of the league. You got a big draft coming up with McKenna and a bunch of great, huge guys up there on the top. They're like, they're gonna tank and they've been listening to all this stuff. And you know, you got the coach and the team. For a coach, his job is to win. And players don't tank. Managers tank. They try to. Players
Did
don't
you
tank.
hear that? Did you hear that,
Yeah.
folks? Players don't tank.
Players don't tank. That's not what they do. They're there to win. Coaches definitely do not tank. They just definitely don't. They may start to realize that they have to look at the long term or something like that a little bit,
Right.
but they don't tank. So
I'm
you
with
got
you.
coaches like McClellan, like we'll look at Detroit. You got these young teams going, hey man, you guys gonna listen to this stuff? You know, we got till the Olympic break. Why don't we just go out there and just beat the crap out of these guys and
I,
see
I,
what we can do?
I
Why don't
guarantee
we
that's what
just
they're
play
talking
as
about in Chicago. I guarantee that's what they're doing
yeah,
in Chicago.
absolutely.
I guarantee that's what they're doing in Anaheim and Detroit.
Yeah,
And you know what I mean? Come
yeah,
on. All right.
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got we're 4 minutes deep in here into some really good games here, the late games for
Mhm.
tonight.
Hoping for
Um,
Buffalo, man. Utah has been really putting it to them though.
right, but looking forward to the Colorado game, looking forward to the Carolina game. Some really good games, late games here that I'll definitely be tuning into for sure after the show. Perlo, my man, Ice Guys, dude, you got look. All you got to do is hop on over to Ice Guys and check them out, man, because
Yeah, I'll be on
they
tomorrow on the Ice Guys.
they
Yeah,
got you covered, man. They got you covered over
they
there,
are
right?
fantastic.
So
Absolutely.
hop on over to Ice Guys. Also, got to hop on over to the great Perlo Wisdom's Frolic. Man,
Mhm.
you got to get signed up on there, man. Look, it's for fun
Yep.
and and you got to get signed up. You got to get taken care of because Perlo's going to get you where you need to go, right?
Mhm.
Perlo, tell them where we can get your stuff.
All right, you go to Perlo's NHL POW. That's on Twitter, and basically, if you go there, you can get everything that I do. I post
Yeah,
all
man.
my I post all my lives that on there, so you can get on. But at 11 o'clock Eastern, I do a show on Perlo's NHL POW. Catch that up on YouTube. Just search that on YouTube. Pretty sure nobody else has called that. Catch me at 11 o'clock most nights. And we go over the games for the next day and just have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you and Rock.
It's
Are
a
you
lot
and
of
Rico?
banter. It's a
Is it
lot
you
of
and
banter,
Rico?
and every once in a while we throw out some picks. I'll tell you
Right,
that's what
right, right. You and Rico?
Rico is getting in the game now again. Now that the Jays lost, and he's a big baseball guy. He doesn't
Okay.
get in. He doesn't get his hockey rotor running hardly at all, especially with the Blue Jays. He's a huge Blue Jays fan, so he hasn't even
Well,
dealt with hockey.
sorry.
So he was on last night for the first time. So Rico's on there. You got All Star. We call him All Star. He's on there, and it's just a lot of fun. You got to
There
go
you
check
go,
it out.
man.
But I'll be on the Ice Guys tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be going all over the games. Talk about pucking deep. They call themselves the most in depth NHL betting podcast in on YouTube, and that's true. But they're also voted the best NHL betting podcast in North America last year and still
Yep.
on the top of the list this year.
So
So
far, you got it.
go check
There you
them out.
go. For sure, for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Thank you all very much for tuning in and checking us out, man. Hit the like and subscribe, man. We really appreciate that for sure, for sure. I'm your co-host, Ron Ma. You can catch me on X at RNJ underscore media, and you can check out all the great stuff on the YouTube channel for Puck in Deep. We will catch you all on the next one.
Take care, everybody.